Hi everybody, today is the 4th of July. I'm actually here in America. That is where I live, and we celebrate the 4th of July, the Independence Day, and we celebrate our freedoms because many people that came here and settled in America came here for freedom. So I thought it'd be appropriate to talk about freedom in terms of non-duality and share with you a little bit of my view about freedom. So in having the experience of feeling a realization of no self, you experience a lot of freedoms in that. And what you experience is, first of all, you experience freedom that you've never done anything that you've ever done. Everything that's ever happened and everything that will ever happen is completely okay. You're free to just be whatever it is that you are, whatever it is that you're doing, wanting to do, whatever it is. You're completely accepted and free in that expression because that's uniquely you. So you feel this sense of freedom now to just be you. If you were wanting to be like everybody else, dress like everybody else, talk like everybody else, do the sorts of things that everybody else does, that's okay. But if that wasn't truly who you are, you're now free to be who you are. All of those mental jail cells, I guess, all fall away. The key's opened. You're free. You're free to just be. And it's always been this way. We've just, for whatever reason, caged ourselves up and haven't felt it's okay to just be who we are. We are uniquely whatever expression we are here. And we're completely loved and accepted to just be who we are. So even those parts of you that you didn't think were lovable, that you didn't think people would love or respect or care for, it's okay. That's loved. That's what's here. That's what's wanting to arise. Let it arise. Let it be. Let yourself be uniquely the expression you're meant to be. You're not meant to be somebody that's already here. You're meant to be you. And you're free to do those things that you want to do. So I was looking for like a sort of poem or something that had to do with freedom here in the United States, just something to kind of post for 4th of July. And I'm trying to look for it now. I actually didn't really search too long or too far when I came across the 4 freedoms of Franklin Delano Roosevelt, a former U.S. president. And his 4 freedoms were the freedom of speech, freedom of worship, freedom from wants, and freedom from fear. And I found that kind of interesting. Now, you can read an explanation about it on Wikipedia. That's where I found it. But this engraving is there, let's see, in Washington, D.C. And you can see like an actual rock engraving there at Washington, D.C. where it says these words. It doesn't say the explanations of it. I guess each American can say what they want. So freedom of speech and freedom of worship, those are part of the amendment. So that's already a given freedom for all Americans that come here. But this freedom actually, Delano Roosevelt was speaking of these freedoms for everybody, not just for Americans. He believed that these freedoms should be for everybody. So I also see that everybody is entitled to freedom. And they're entitled to be completely free, even above just these 4 freedoms. They're free to just be whatever they want to be. And whatever that is completely okay. If it's arising, it's accepted and it's here, and that couldn't ever be any other way. So that is what it is. And so whatever you choose, even though you're not choosing it, it's free. It's completely free to be. We don't have to be any other way. We don't have to censor ourselves or any of that stuff. Okay? So let's dive into a little bit with freedom of speech. There's many places that don't allow people to make even just these YouTube videos and speak about anything other than whatever is their agenda. They could be killed for speaking about certain things, and probably be killed for speaking about something like I'm speaking about, even though it's the simplest thing and it is what it is. But that happens. And You know, we are free to speak, but there are places in this world, in this reality that we live in, that isn't any other reality. This is the reality where speech is limited. And if you live in one of those places, that can be very difficult, and it would probably be very hard to hear this message and be in that place. And I empathize with you over that. I am from another country, but I did experience more freedoms than that. Not so quite so strict. But I live in America now, and there is freedom of speech here, and I feel very lucky and blessed in a way, even though there's no one to bless me, that there is freedom here for me to speak about this topic or any topic I want to speak about, for me to say what I think it is. If something is said that I don't believe is that way, I could say something completely different. So we have to protect those freedoms, even if whoever's speaking, we don't agree with what they're saying or we don't believe that's true. That's what's arising. That's what's happening. That's freedom for that person. That's a right to be free, to be you. You may not say what one person says. You may say something completely different. But we should be free to express ourselves, how we are, what's happening. The next freedom is the freedom of worship. So while I would say there is nothing to worship because everything is one, there is nothing outside of us to be worshiping anything. Freedom to worship is important. Not many people have had a non-dual realization. Many people are a part of a religion, and it's okay for them to express whatever religion they want to be. We are free to express whatever we want to believe. So if I want to believe whatever, I'm free to do that. So, and at the same time, I should grant that freedom to others to do whatever religion that they would like. There is nothing right or wrong. Everything is okay. While some religions and things may keep you further from the truth, it's okay if that person wants to be that religion. The truth is something that a lot of people won't ever access or realize, and it's not something that they could have attained anyway. It just happens. But we are free to worship here in the United States, and I really value that. And I wish it were that way everywhere. I do believe that is a human right to worship and believe spiritually whatever it is you believe. The next freedom is freedom from want. Now, I'm not sure really what he meant by that, and I'd really like to look into it a little bit more. Maybe I should have before I got on here. But freedom from want, what could that mean? For me personally, after the non-dual awakening, I didn't have very many desires left, very many wants left. I just wanted to do life as it was happening. Life as it was happening is magical as it is. But we are free from wants. We don't need to be tied to wanting to achieve anything, we don't need to want anything. We are okay just the way we are without having anything extra added to us. Just as we are here on this earth, how we were born, we are perfectly accepted and okay and loved as a human expression here. Freedom from fear. That's a big one. Fear is what stops us from moving forward, from doing anything else. So if you are listening to this message or you've come across this communication elsewhere, you will notice, if you haven't had the realization, is that the main last step before this realization is fear. You will probably go into some suffering and depression and things like that, maybe, but or maybe you won't. But the last thing before this realization is fear, because the ego wants its last, it uses its last tricks, whatever it can, to instill fear in you that going there is scary. Going there means you're going to lose something. Going there means you're not going to be okay. So if you truly believe that fear and you get into that fear, you will be stopped. You will be paralyzed, and you'll never get to the other side. So fear is something that we need to be free of. There is nothing to fear. You may have heard, like, on the other side of fear is greatness. On the other side of fear is, like, whatever it is that you've always wanted. So there's some truth to that. And I don't know if that's the exact quote, but there's a quote like that. And it's very true. So when you're fearful of something, I'd encourage you to push through that fear and overcome that. We don't need fear. We need to be free of fear so that we can pass fear and get to the other side, because on the other side is something great. And fear is always stopping us. So those are the 4 freedoms that Delano Roosevelt had said. And I think that they're some good freedoms to speak of. Yet I still believe everybody should be free in all ways, always, everywhere, in all countries, everywhere. And that's still yet an issue for many countries where people do not have freedom. And that's very unfortunate, because even with this message, they may be free, but in their country, they're not free. So when I'm speaking about this sitting here in the United States of America, I'm in a very different position than many people. And I realize that, because although you could have this realization and have freedom, you still have culture, society, and all of these things that appear here in this earthly place, which is everything. There is no other place. And some of those places where there are no freedoms, there isn't this realization yet. There hasn't been a lot of this realization happening. So people are still very stuck in whatever, they're wanting to believe, and anything outside of that is not accepted. So I'm very happy that I live in the United States, where I can make these videos, where I can speak of this to anybody, where I could be free. But I realize that's not the case for everybody. And that doesn't mean that you can't still have this realization. You can. Just start being free. Start being free. And fighting for those freedoms. The more free you are, the more freedom will become the realization of everything. So the truth will come one way or another to whoever it's supposed to come to, or whatever. And for those that it's not, it's fine. We can still be free. We can still do that, whether there is a self or not. There is no self in anybody. We just feel that there is. And some of us feel free and some of us don't. But essentially, we are all actually already free. So I just wanted to share this message on 4th of July. I'm just spending some time with my family. It's actually my dad's birthday. So I'm going to let y'all go here and go spend some time with them. I hope you all have a great day.